The holidays are different when Big Mama isn't here anymore, or when Big Daddy's chair is always empty. Like when Mom and Pops are no longer at the table. The holidays are drastically different. And if you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those holidays where you might not have had much, but somehow, like, you had everything. Like everybody packed in the house. There's like 20 or 30 people around the table, like laughing loud, talking over one another, reminiscing about who used to get their behind whooped, who stayed in trouble, who got fussed at. But then, you get hugged and kissed like 5 minutes later. You know what I mean? That old school love, that loud, boisterous love, that imperfect, unconditional love. And when those people are gone, the holidays just don't stop. But they do change. They change. Since Thanksgiving, I've been learning how to live in that truth. How to move through the season without my parents. How to sit with grief instead of running from it. How to soothe myself. How to nurture myself. Really, how to parent myself in ways that they used to. And I'll be honest, it hasn't been easy. It hasn't been. Some days I'm grateful. Some days I'm joyful. Some days I'm laughing and showing up and just doing life. And some days I'm grieving. And here's what I've learned. And this matters. Joy doesn't cancel grief. And grief doesn't invalidate joy. Both can live in the same body, in the same heart, on the same day. I can sit at brunch with my girlfriends and still miss my parents. I can laugh from my belly and still feel that ache. I can be thankful for my life and still mourn what I've lost. That doesn't make me ungrateful. It makes me human. And I want to just pause here, especially for women, because as women, we know how to show up. We put on our makeup, we grab our bags, we step into our professional selves, and we force ourselves to keep going. I've done that my whole entire life because I was a teenage mom, a single mom, I had to figure it out. And I had to figure things out early. And I learned how to be good under pressure, good in a crisis, good at keeping it together. I put on my big girl panties and I handled my business. That's what I did, no matter what. And that strength is real. But what I'm learning now is this. Being whole doesn't mean you're never broken. It means you honor the broken pieces also. It means you don't pretend that you're okay when you're not. It means you give yourself permission to be human. It means you nurture yourself instead of pushing yourself past your limits. Two things can be true at the same time. You can be strong and soft. You can be capable and tender. You can show up and still need care. I'm not a crier, so most people don't see that side of me. So when I allow myself to cry now, that's new. That's growth. That's healing. I'm learning to accept both versions of myself. The woman who handles business and the woman who needs rest, softness, and grace. Scripture reminds me that God is the father to the fatherless. He is a father to the fatherless, and I hold on to that. Because when the people who loved you without conditions are gone, you learn to lean on God in a much deeper way. I'm trying to tell you, okay? Church has become a place of comfort for me, not because I walk in strong, but because I don't have to pretend. There is community, there are hugs, there is the word, and other people who have gone through exactly what I'm going through. And that holds me. I've noticed that grief shows up in my body in different ways. Sometimes I'm more sensitive, sometimes I'm more irritable, and sometimes my patience is shorter than usual. So instead of shaming myself, I slow down. I pay attention and I choose to be proactive instead of reactive. When something doesn't sit right with me, that's my cue to set a boundary. Not from anger, not from being overwhelmed, but from a place of self-respect. That's part of parenting yourself. I've avoided certain songs. That Christmas song by The Temptations, In My Mind. That one reminds me of my dad. We loved that song. Me and my brothers used to sing that song all the time. And I just wasn't ready to hear it. But this week during choir rehearsal, a song moved me to tears. And instead of running from it, I let myself feel it. And I allowed myself to cry. Healing doesn't mean avoiding the pain. Sometimes healing means letting it move through you. And before I close, I want to say this. I'm wearing this big old jeweled headband. It's got some, it's cute, right? It's a little extra, I know. But I'm wearing this. It's not because I want attention, but because it really reflects the joy that lives inside of me, alongside my grief. It reflects how I choose to show up for myself now. Sometimes, even when things aren't all together, you put something on, a little something that reminds you of who you are and whose you are. For me, this is an expression of healing, of self-love, of honoring myself. I show up boldly now, loudly, authentically, broken and whole. I'm a little unique, a little different, and guess what? I celebrate that. That is why I created She Serves Healed. Not because I've arrived, but because I am healing one step at a time with grace, with boundaries, with faith. And if this season feels heavy for you, please hear this. Joy does not cancel your grief, and your grief does not invalidate your joy. More than one thing can be true at the same time. If this message resonates with you, please like and share. Happy holidays from She Serves Healed.